and welcome to my studio. My name is Tammy Ernest and I am a longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share finishes and projects that I've worked on myself as well as customer clients. So welcome back. I'm glad you're here. So today we have a full day. I have lots of fun things to share, some finishes of mine. No client quilts today because they're not going home this week. I have several finished, but they won't be going home till next week, so I'm going to save those for next week's video. So today, let's start off with just catching up. How's your week been? We've been having lots of Christmas not celebrations. We've had lots of Christmas activities going on. We had our church Christmas party over the weekend, and that's always fun. We have a white elephant gift exchange, and we always play lots of fun games. Did a snowball toss with ping pong balls and cotton balls. That was interesting. And just fun get together. Always lots of good food, and it was a good time. And then Sunday evening, we took the family out for a drive in the evening, grabbed some snacks in the car, and we went around and looked at Christmas lights. I don't know about you, but around here, the newest thing is synchronizing the lights to music. So we probably visited three different houses, just individuals, putting this on their own, and you pull up and you tune to a certain radio station and they're playing Christmas music, and the lights that they have outside their home are synchronized to that music. Very different styles, some more traditional lights just to Christmas music. Others were very technical kind of lights, and but lots of fun. We just like to drive around and different neighborhoods and see the Christmas lights that are up. And then last night we had a nice dinner, and then in the evening when everybody gathered back together, we had some cookie dough ice cream, and my husband always reads Christmas stories, and we'll scatter these throughout the month of December, but last night we read 2 or 3 that are longtime favorites, ones that kids ask for every time that we get together every Christmas. They say, when are you going to read Cootie McKay? And that's a story by Todd Wilson. You can look him up if you'd like. Just a good Christmas story. We also have a book, I don't know the name of the book, Christmas in My Heart or something like that, that has some neat stories. One is called Raggy Maggie, and we always like that one just because one of my daughter's names is Maggie. So lots of fun Christmas activities this weekend coming up. My kids are in a recital. They take piano and voice lessons, and so they have that recital. They have a choir Christmas party. Just lots of activities still going on. So been an enjoyable Christmas season so far. I have probably half of my Christmas shopping done and getting through that and getting some things wrapped and under the tree, and it's been an enjoyable time. But I've also been finding lots of time to quilt, and been working on some client quilts, and like I said, those aren't going to go home until next week, so I'd rather share those next week right before they go home. That way the owners have them before it comes out on video. But so today I'm going to share some updates on the things that I've been working on. So a couple weeks ago I shared what was in my Sew Sampler box for the month of November. Have not received the December box yet. I assume that's coming anytime, and I'll share that when it does come. But November box, one of the things that comes every month in the box is the block instructions for a quilt along that's going on. And this is called the Bliss quilt along. And this was block number 8. And here's a picture of the final block this time. And I did get mine finished this past weekend. So here's mine. I am using fig tree fabrics, even though these are not the actual fabrics that are called for in the quilt along. You can buy that from Fat Quarter Shop, but I had some fig tree fabrics on hand, and so I'm just using the white that I have. The low volume, you can see, is got quite a bit of a flower print to it, so I don't think the design itself stands out quite as well as if I'd used a lower volume, but I'm trying to use what I have. A very easy block to use or to make. You can see the half square triangles all around the edges, and very quick make. So I have that one. I have all my others, and I believe I showed these the last time, but so that's number 8. So we're getting through them, And be exciting to get that put together in a quilt sometime this spring when they're all finished and get the final ones. So if you are not part of the Sew Sampler box, you can, I'll put a link in the description if these are available on Fat Quarter Shop. I know you can buy them once it's finished, and maybe as we're going along if you're not part of the Quilt Along itself or part of that Sew Sampler box. If you're not in the Sew Sampler box and you'd be interested, I'll put a link down there for that as well. I do enjoy receiving that box once a month just to see the new fabrics that are out and some nice little gadgets that are in there that I like to try. Just to see if it's something that I would enjoy. So, next thing, our guild, my local quilt guild, is doing a block exchange, and these are Wonky blocks. I've never done, or Wonky Stars. I've never done these, and so this weekend, when on Friday nights I stay up late, and so I enjoy that time. Everybody else goes to bed, and I go in my sewing room. I usually watch YouTube all evening. I'm a big cross stitcher, and so I'll watch Flosstube. If you're not a cross stitcher, you have to check out Flosstube. Everyone that works on cross stitch, not everyone, but obviously people that work on cross stitch and they do their own YouTube channels. Maybe sometime I'll do a Flosstube video here. I was a big cross stitcher probably 30 years ago when we first got married. And then it kind of fell away and I didn't do it for a long time. And actually I had some wonderful, some big pieces that I had done earlier in our marriage, and I got rid of them like 5 years ago. Just thinking, you know, I'm pretty sure I got rid of them. If I find them in the attic someday, I will be thrilled. But I know I'm pretty sure I got rid of them thinking nobody decorates with this anymore, kind of look dated. And then, I don't know, a year and a half ago, I found Flosstube and I started cross-stitching again, and that's evening job, I do that. But that's what I watch on Friday nights. I usually stay up and watch Flosstube while I'm sewing, and I stay up very late, like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then get 4 or 5 hours sleep and then run all day Saturday. But I digress. Okay, so on Friday night when I was up late sewing, I tried these Wonky Stars. Pretty wonky, what do you think? So there's no pattern to this necessarily. My squares, I think, were 5-inch squares. And I just took a white background. I looked at a tutorial. I mean, it was pretty simple. And you can do them any size you want. So I chose 5-inch squares. And what will that make? I mean, you could cut these down. So 5, 10, 15. 15-inch block minus the seam allowances. So just over 14, right at 14 right now, because it'd be half there and half there. So right at 14-inch square right now. So all you do is lay another fabric across your block and sew, and then fold that one back, lay another fabric on the other side and sew, so it doesn't have to match. So it'll be fun to work on, I guess. Depends on how many people signed up for the block exchange. I'm not sure at this point. Here's another one that I did. So we'll see. Wonky Stars. So depending on how many people in the guild sign up, depends on how many will be able to trade with other people, I guess. I've never done a block exchange, so this is a new experience for me as well. But kind of fun. Use up scraps. I just picked, the color thing was to use some bright colors, so that's what I was trying to pick for those. So it might be kind of fun. Never done anything like that before. Wonky Stars. I'll put a link down to some tutorials that are online if you'd like to see how to do that. Next up, I've been showing you, or told you a few weeks ago that I would like to work on this Alpines quilt by Camille Roskelley. I've pulled all my fabrics, and I'll show you, and I've even done one of the blocks. I got one done. So I've pulled all my fabrics, I've cut all my fabrics, and I have them all laid out here on one of my design boards. All labeled. I label them with the stickers from Holt stickers. And I don't have all of the gray cut. So my, you'll notice in the quilt, she uses a dark gray for the backing, And then the houses, one is white with the trees, and then the other house is green with the white windows. And then the roofs on all of them are green. So I changed it up a little bit. My roofs are actually going to be this darker gray color. And then my background is going to be the lighter gray with just, oops, I just dropped some. Just a little bit of a, you know, I thought it kind of looked like maybe like some winter foggy type thing there. And then this green is for my trees. This green is for the house blocks. Yeah. And then the white is for the stars and for the windows. And I think that's all of them. So I've got them all laid out there. So this should go pretty quick now that I've got, is there anything? Yeah. And then I have this fabric. Oh, no. Okay, a couple that I haven't cut yet. This is my binding fabric. This one is for, so this is the houses that have the trees. And this is my color of houses for the ones that just have windows. And I have not cut this one yet. That's what it is. So you can see the pattern again. The houses with windows are green, and that's what I'm using this print for. And then the houses that have the trees are a lighter color, and that's what I'm using this one for. These are all Camille Roskelley prints. Actually, her and Bonnet and Camille prints. The line that they put out, Merry Little Christmas, and those were those. I am using, this one is just a white fabric that I had on hand. I had a bolt of that, so I'm using that one. This one is a Lori Holt print. This one is a Camille Roskelley print. This green was just a stash print that I had for the trees. So a little bit, I didn't want to go out and buy any more fabric. I wanted to use what I had on hand. I wasn't able to use, if you remember, the Christmas tree quilt, the t-shirt quilt that I made where I made trees out of this fabric. I'm actually using this green fabric. I didn't have enough of this to use for the trees in the Alpine quilt. So I'm actually using this one for the chimneys. I thought that would be cute. So here the chimneys, she has them as white, but I thought this would be cute. So let me show you one of the finished blocks that I have. So I made the block with the Christmas trees. And yeah, I like it. I like it. So there's the green chimneys. I like that. And the gray roof. And then you can see the pattern there for the house, the white door. And then she has you use the background print around this part of the house, I think, just to give it some definition. So and then the trees. So I like the way this turned out. And the other block goes together very similarly, except you just have the windows instead of the trees. So that's my first one done. I don't think it'll take me a really long time to get this one done. I haven't even started on the star blocks though. I don't know how complicated those are. If you saw those, I've got all the parts cut for that except for the gray, but all the white is cut. It shouldn't be too bad. Now looking at it, it just looks like some half square triangles. They're really pretty though. I'm excited to get this one done and put it out for Christmas and possibly even through January, February. I think it could stay out for that amount of time. So that's my catch up on my Alpine quilt. And let me show you too. I always, I might have mentioned this before. I like to keep my projects in old tins. So like this is an old enamel baking tin, and I liked it that this was green because it matched the fabric that was inside of it. So this is where this one's living. I picked these up at antique stores, and usually they're not very expensive. And just a fun way to keep my projects, use my antiques that I have. All right, so can you see the quilts back there? Those are the ones we're going to talk about today. I've been working on, I know it's fall's done, but I have to show you this quilt because I finished it except for the binding, but I'm not going to show you the binding. I'll finish that and put it away for next fall time. But I've been using this book, County Seat Quilts. This is by Julie Hendrickson and Vicki Gerke. I love the quilts in this book. This will not be the only one that I make. So I've been working on this pumpkin patch quilt. right there. I've shown it several times in different stages of it, but I finally got it off the long arm, and I want to show you what it looks like. Let me show you here first, and then I'll stand up and show you the back because I want to show you what I did. So here it is all together, and first let me show you. I used for the long arm quilting, I just did. This is called Rumble, so very similar to straight line, except it adds a little peaks in there. And I thought it went well. They're 1 inch apart. Rumble is a pattern, is a edge-to-edge design put out by the Longarm League. And I am a member of the Longarm League, so I believe that came in a package deal at the beginning. But Longarm League, they have, it is a national organization, if you want to say that, of longarm quilters, where we can talk with one another, get ideas from one another. We have lessons and smaller groups that we meet together. I have a business buddy group that meets once a month. So just a good thing. But they also, Longarm League also puts out pantographs. And so you can check that out if you're a longarm quilter and want some other pantographs. But this is one of hers that she does. This is called Rumble. All right, and I will stand up and show you this whole quilt. All right, so here is the whole quilt. Looks very similar to the one in the book. I did very similar colors. What I wanted to show you was the back. So on the back, I had 1 block left. Let me hold this up for you. So I had 1 pumpkin block left, and so I decided I was going to use it. I decided to use it in the back, so I used it with the background print, the same background print. And then I just used some of the fabrics that I had left from the front pumpkins. So I just did stripes on the backing. Couple gray, and then the orange, the mustard color one, a little bit of the orangey color on the front. I thought it was cute. I like that. I like the back being finished like that. So once again, there's my pumpkin patch quilt. I'll finish the binding, and I'll put it away on my shelf and pull it out for next fall. But it's done. I can enjoy it next fall. I didn't quite get it done for this year, but I'll enjoy it for next fall. So some happy mail that I received this week. I finally got my copy of Scrappiness is Happiness. Have you got this book? I'm a big Lori Holt fan. Not necessarily are her colors the same colors that I use, but I love her approach to using scraps. Before finding Lori Holt and finding her videos on YouTube, I had drawers, actually tubs full of scraps, and they were just thrown in there. I never used them because I couldn't find what I wanted, and I now follow her process of cutting up scraps into certain sizes, and I have them. I should have brought a couple in my basket so you could see them. I use wire baskets because I like the vintage feel of those, and I keep my fabrics in those. So I have been following Lori's YouTube videos, and I've made some quilts, and actually that's the one we're going to talk about now, even before the book came out. But I'm glad that the instructions are all in a book, so I don't have to go back to the videos now. But so I finally received, this is a big heavy book, and I'm going to show you what I'm working on. First, let's talk about the Chex Mix block. And this is a project that I've been working on. These are the individual blocks. This is a project that I've been working on probably 1.5 years. So what I do is I cut my scraps. When I'm cutting smaller pieces, I'll cut them into 1.5 inch squares. And I will store them in muffin tins next to my sewing machine. So these are all done by color. I have a bigger box that has, or a bigger metal basket that has 1.5 inch strips in it. But when I'm cutting, if it's just a couple, like when I was trimming up, cutting the things for the Alpine quilt. When I got to the end and I had just a little, maybe I was cutting 2-inch squares, and I got to the end and there was just a little bit left. I went ahead and cut out that into 1.5-inch squares, and I put it in here. So actually you can see there, that's when I was cutting the white ones. So this one contains all my white prints, and I just keep this next to my sewing machine, just a little enamel cup. These are all whites or nearly whites. Sometimes they're a little off-white. Sometimes they have a little gray in them or a little flower in them. But anything that's a low volume white, I keep in this cup. And then in my little muffin tins, I separate them by color. So I have all my purples, grays, browns, pinks, yellows, and then over here, another set of them. So then what I do when I'm working on another project, so like when I'm working on the Alpines quilt, I will just pick a stack of these and pull them next to my sewing machine, next with my cup here. And so as I'm working on that block, then I'll just run these through as my enders and my leaders. So just put a colored one with a white one, I don't care which one it is, and run it through. Keeps my thread from getting tangled underneath my sewing machine, and it helps it just pull the next block through. And so then I have all of these stacked up, and let me show you on my little lunch tray here. So these are a bunch of just ones that I've sewn together. This is some black or brown and white ones, greenish ones. So once I get a whole stack of these, then I'll find ones that are similar matches. So here are ones that are similar, and then I would put these together and run those through the sewing machine. And then I might then I would take it to the presser when I'm pressing something else, and then I would press it, and then I have strips like this, and then I stack them all up on here, and I will put these together. Then I'll run them through the sewing machine like that until I get 4 of them. So here's a bunch of blue ones that are 2 parts, and then I will join the 2 parts together, and so there's 5, usually done like this, 5, and then I need 1 more row across the bottom, so I'll take one of my strips and I'll add another blue one onto that one, and then that'll be across the bottom. So I'm not doing this, this is just all extra, just, when you're working on other things, and just grab these. And I love the process of this, that you're making something from the scraps. So let me show you the stack of ones that I have finished. Like I said, this has been over probably 1.5 years. I have all of these done, just in between doing other things. So there's purples. I was working on something. Oh, remember the wedding quilt that I was working on, and I had the cornerstones, the purple cornerstones. That was purples left from that I had cut. Here's black one. You can even see a little bit of a cow print that I had in that one. Oh, this is just so fun because I can remember the quilts that I was working on when that these came from, or some of them are older ones. Browns, blues, reds. So this is much more my color scheme than what Lori Holt's is. I love her color scheme, but that's just not my house. So I did make her quilt my happy place, the one with all the sewing things. And maybe I'll show that. It's put away now, but maybe I'll show that sometime. I just love the process of saving scraps and using them for other projects. So speaking of that, so that's the Chex Mix quilt, and that is in this book. And she joins them all together. She then puts a binding, let me see. She puts a couple different borders around it and then joins it together. And I'm looking forward to doing that. It could be any size. It could be a baby quilt if we wanted. This one, she does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 99 of those. So I've got a ways to go, but there's no hurry. And that makes a 63 by 77 quilt. So a lot of fun. Then the other one I've worked on, only from her YouTube videos. As I said, I didn't have this book prior to that. I created, she calls it the Scrappy Crossroads quilt. Here's her version of it. And again, this is just using scraps. And I would have this in a little drawer next to my sewing machine, and I would put this through. Let me tell you the size of blocks that this is. So these are 2-inch, 2.5-inch are the squares for this one. And then she shows you how to lay them out on your board. And I did that. And then let me show you the quilt that I made from that one. And here is my Scrappy Crossroads. This is very large, so I won't be able to show all of it. So again, all 2.5-inch squares. Who doesn't have 2.5-inch squares left over, right? And I just joined them as I was sitting at the sewing machine. I would join them in 2s, and then I would join them in 4s, so there's no rhyme or reason, just whatever I was working on at the time. And you put them together. Actually, it looks like this is the square. That's not the square. The square is, it's a 4-patch. So it is that one, sorry. It's been a while since I did this one. So you have these blocks here with 2.5-inch squares on the corners, and you lay those out so that they form that X. And then this is a 4-patch, 4-patch, 4-patch. So you're laying out 4 patches. And then whatever combination looks good. So this is so fun because I get to go back. As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing quilts that I made, many years ago. But all the different scrappiness. So this is more my colorway, more the muted colors. This is what our farmhouse is done in, more blacks and whites, and then the muted colors. So I'm still working on the binding on this. And then this, if you can see the pantograph. This pantograph is called Sage, and this one's put out by Urban Elements. If you are a long arm quilter and would like to get that one for yourself, this is called Sage. I reduced it down just for the sizing of it. And every pantograph is that way. I can adjust, because it's all computerized, I can adjust the size of the pantograph to fit the quilt. So some people like it much larger so that there's more space. I like mine a little dense, more dense, so that it's a little tighter. I like the look of that. And so every computerized pantograph is, I'm able to reduce it or enlarge it, because every customer is different. Everyone likes something different. And so that's what I used on that one. Sage is what that one is called. So I'm still finishing the binding on this. I just did a blue on the back. There you can see the sage a little bit better. I like that one, very simple. So that's my Scrappy Crossroads quilt from Lori Holt. Like I said, you can watch her videos, but if you get the book, then all of the videos that she's been putting out over the last 1.5 years, she has the instructions for that. So that's a lot of fun. And I'll be excited to get this one. This one really could stay out. This will be one that we can use year-round. I love my quilts to be used. I'm not one that makes them, except for like my Happy Place quilt. That one is put up. I didn't want the kids using that during movie time. But this is one that I love just to have out. I want my quilts to be used. I let them take them outside and, you know, do picnics on them and that kind of thing. Or we even took some in the car the other night when we were riding around looking at the Christmas lights, just to enjoy. I want my kids to enjoy the quilts and remember using them. I have one more. This is a Christmas one. Thought it would be fun to share. This one I actually finished last year, but because it's a Christmas quilt, it only comes out once a year. But I love this one. This one started as the panel. Let me hold it up and show it to you. And then we'll do it in parts here. All right, so let's talk about this quilt. This is, I'm gonna take it out of the package so that you don't have a glare on there. All right, this quilt is called The Perfect Tree, and this is by Coach House Designs. I changed things up a little bit, and I'll show you what I did on this. I actually bought this as a kit, but you can, and so it included all the fabrics that were needed. You can buy just the pattern itself and make this. So it starts out as a panel, and you cut the panel apart. So you have the middle one, and then you have the 4 squares. So we have a truck one, then we have a wreath, and we have, and you've probably seen this one, the animals standing on top of each other, Christmas on the farm, and then another wreath. So those are the parts of the panel. Then she gives instructions in the pattern. You have 2 pieced blocks, Ohio Stars. So those are those 2 piece blocks, and those are on either side. And then you have some Christmas tree blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 2 at the top. One's short and one's tall. And she gives instructions for those. I love the fabric on that one. On those. Makes it look like Christmas tree. And then at the bottom, the very bottom, you have 1 on one side and 1 on the other side. And then my favorite part of this whole quilt is the truck at the bottom. So let me show you the pattern. On the pattern, she had a plaid truck. And that is cute. It is cute, but I didn't want my truck plaid, so I used red fabric that I had. You make the same Christmas tree block, but only half of it. And then that lies in the bed of the truck. You even have the wreath on the door, the yellow headlight, the wheels. Look, you even have the runner board on the truck. And I just thought that was really cute. Really cute. So that is just a really cute quilt. And then the backing fabric, I don't believe the backing fabric came, it might have. It's been a while. It was last year. And then there's the backing fabric. So you can see the pantograph. This one is called Double Swirl. Double Swirl. And this is, I do all my long arm quilting on a handy quilter. I have a 12-foot table and a Mara is what I have. And this is one of the handy quilter designs that comes with Pro Stitcher. It's called Double Swirl. I like that. It gave it kind of a, almost like a snowflake, snow, wind, flurry type feel. Then, yeah, I was looking, the plaid fabric is all added on to each one of the panel. That was not part of the panel. So the plaid fabric is added around each of the panel blocks as well as the pieced blocks. Then you had a white border and then another plaid border, or buffalo check, I don't call it buffalo check. And then you had this cute truck border around the outside. So I love this one, just really cute. Love the fabrics of it. Yeah, you can even see I got a pillow over there. We got a lot of red trucks. We do have an old red truck. Actually, it's not a small truck like this, not a farm truck, but it's more of a grain truck parked over near the house. I should decorate it for Christmas, shouldn't I? I just now thought of that. Put some trees in the back, decorate it for Christmas. Not everybody can have a red truck in their Christmas decorations, right? So anyway, there's the full pattern. Coach House Designs. So if you'd like to make that one as well, I'm sure you can still find the fabrics either on Etsy or somewhere. I've seen them out still. Just really cute. All right. So I think that's all I have to share today. Lots of fun stuff going on. I hope you're enjoying your Christmas celebration and that you're enjoying time with your family, and I hope you're giving quilts away for Christmas. It's always fun to do that. And I've got a few in the works that I'm working on as well. I don't know if I'll share them or if they'll just stay gifts, but hope you're having lots of time to quilt. And if not, stay up on late on Friday nights and join me. It's always a fun time. I'll enjoy that Friday night sew because everybody else is in bed. I don't feel that I'm needed anywhere else. And it's just my time and just some quiet time up in my sewing room. Everyone else is asleep, and it's just a good time. So you can stay up on Friday nights and join me if you'd like. Send me a message, tell me you're up, and we'll show each other what we're working on. So have a Merry Christmas. I'll be back next week, the week before Christmas, just to catch up with some customer quilts that I'm working on. In the meantime, if you're needing some long arm quilting done, I hope you'll visit my website, tammyernestquilting.com. On there, you can download the prepping instructions and the order form that gives you information about how to get your quilt to me. Also, if you're interested, you can join my weekly newsletter that comes out on Fridays, and there's a button there on my website that you can sign up for that as well. So thanks for joining me today. Let me know what you're working on. Hope you'll give me some comments, leave some comments down below, and tell me what you enjoyed about today's video. Bye-bye.